Hey, ladies and cunts. I'm Bam Bam, and welcome to the General Public Podcast Randomness with me, Bam Bam. Guess what? I have a cool story. So here's the story, okay? So for a family member, I went on to Cameo.com. If you don't know what that is, go check it out. What it is where you can get celebrities. Basically, you pay the celebrity to do a video recording to whoever you're trying to give it to. I got someone from the Big Bang Theory to do it for one of my relatives. It was funny. It was hilarious. I loved it. I loved it a lot. But when I was on the Cameo website, because it's full of celebrities, I saw Tom Cruise, right? And it's like, you can get him for like $150. And I was like, Tom Cruise? $150? That's fucking cheap. But no, anyways, it wasn't actual Tom Cruise. It's Tom Cruise impersonator. He's got a lot of followers on TikTok and on Cameo. I found him on his Instagram, and somehow I got him to reply to me, and he did my podcast. Yes, that's right. I have a Tom Cruise impersonator on my podcast, which you're going to hear right now as soon as I'm done my intro. Anyways, let me read his Cameo description. He says, in quotations, I don't know. Fuck, in quotations, out quotations. I'm not gonna pull that shit. Anyways, this is what his description is on his Cameo. I'm recognized as the leading Tom Cruise impersonist in the world. From the Tonight Show to Collider TV's viral deepfake vids, there is no substitute. It gives me great pleasure to partner with Cameo to... Oh, shit, I gotta hit read more. To record glorious messages for your for your express enjoyment. For any occasion. Woohoo! Tips are greatly appreciated. Important. For promotional and business requests, please visit www.nottomcruise.com. This is the dude. This dude looks like Tom Cruise. He fucking... Well, I mean, if he takes the glasses off, he doesn't really look like Tom Cruise. It's more like his nose down and his chin. Like, so from his neck up to his nose and his nose down. Looks like Tom Cruise when he wears the glasses. The aviators. Or, those 80s fucking style glasses. But, god damn it, he sounds just like Tom Cruise. He does. Show me the podcast! I'm going to take a little shot at this Tom Cruise thing. I have a little quote right now. Should I? Will I? Let me have some water. Whoop. What's done is done. When we say it's done. It's from Mission Impossible. Fuck that bullshit. You know what? Let the actual Tom Cruise impersonator do it. Ladies and gentlemen. Why would I say ladies and gentlemen? Ladies and cunts. Here we go. The Tom Cruise impersonator. Enjoy that shit. Whatever I can find that piques my interest and entertains the fuck out of my mind.
Hey.
I guess we'll have to do it this way.
Yeah, we have to. Skype's working.
That is weird. It's never happened like that before.
I don't know.
Because, like, Zoom, I don't mind using Zoom, but I got to wait till I get a webcam. Because you can only record Zoom calls on your computer.
Oh,
Can't do it over the phone. That's why I use Skype. Because I record the call.
The one thing is I let's do it from can you just call me back again on my iPhone? Because I can't angle this the right way, my iPad. Oh, wait, I could do it this way, but now you're lopsided, so.
It doesn't matter. We're not using the video. I can't record it.
Oh, it's just, if it's just audio, yeah, go.
Yeah, it's just audio. I will.
Okay, good.
Can you record this?
You can record on Skype and not here, I don't think.
Okay, whatever. That's that.
Yeah.
I don't want to take up all your time. We can do it again and we'll do video. Just
Yeah,
thought
exactly.
it would be funny.
I thought you were doing video. That's why you wanted Skype.
Yeah, that's what. It's not working.
Wait, so you were going to do video. Gotcha.
Yeah, I was going to, because I take the little video clips, use them for my Instagram, you know.
I see.
Yeah.
Well, shit.
Or YouTube. No, it's okay. We'll do it this way. I'll just, do you mind if I take like one of your clips off your Instagram to post on mine?
No, please. You can use whatever you want. Yeah.
That's that shit right with the glasses.
Yeah, use whatever you want. Yeah.
So you're a Tom Cruise impersonator, brother. What's going on?
That's right. Yes, I am. I'm now a father too. Just had a baby 6 months ago, so that's kind of taking over my life. But I'm kind of balancing that. You know, I think the twilight of my career as a Tom Cruise impersonator and transitioning into kind of, you know, figuring out like the next move with all that. But you know, the baby is kind of my new trajectory, and figuring out how to support the baby, get more diapers, get more wet wipes, get a home for us to settle down in. And, you know, I'm just have to be serious about it. The cruise thing has been great though. It's been very lucrative the past couple of years, and it's been supporting me and our family. And I just don't know if it's forever, you know, it could end at any moment, you know, but I'm hopeful.
Damn. So you're making a whole, I was going to ask you that, but you answered anyways. Any chance we could get a little...
Well, I wasn't always making money doing it.
No?
I was sporadically working. Never really thought it would pan out and be a real career, because I was always having 3 different side hustles, you know, throughout my career. I was mainly a producer for 15 years, film and TV. And then on the side, did Tom Cruise. Yeah. And then, you know, I'd book a big job here and there, or I'd you know, I'd get some money coming in, and that would help me get out of debt every once in a while, which was awesome. But in terms of a sustainable career, Cruise never really amounted to much until 3 years ago, until 2 or 3 years ago, when I released a video that, again, I had no notions of this doing really well. Like, you don't ever think like it's going to go viral, but I released a video that was in response to Justin Bieber wanting to fight me in the octagon. Not me, sorry. Tom Cruise.
The real Tom Cruise.
He wanted to fight Tom Cruise in the UFC octagon. And who knows why he did that. He might have been drunk or high. I have no idea. But I responded.
Yeah, you responded.
I responded because Cruise will never respond, but I respond when Cruise doesn't respond.
Because why would Cruise respond? Has Bieber watched any of his movies? Like any of them?
Right.
Do you
should know that. Yeah. Well, look.
He's so physically fit.
He's not just fit. He's got a lot of skills, and he's like Liam Neeson, and, you know, he's got a lot of skills to hurt people. But he also is an amazing stunt guy and action oriented, and he's a tough guy. He's been through a lot, Cruise.
Yeah, but
I mean, even back in Far and Away, when he was remember he was a boxer in Far and Away.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's right. That was a great movie.
But Bieber, you know, is a young, hot-blooded kid who has the age thing on Cruise, and probably has more stamina, maybe. And he's been working out a lot, but I don't think he compares. I mean, Cruise, I think, would kick the shit out of him.
100%. Especially,
it's not even a question.
Just there's one scene I could say just because of this that Bieber stands no chance is the fact that Tom Cruise did his own stunt when he was hanging off that building in Dubai, like 80 stories or whatever the fuck it was up. Just right there. That right there shows you there's no way in hell you're ever going to beat this guy in a ring.
Well, I don't know how much fear comes in as a factor in boxing or MMA fighting or whatever, but he definitely doesn't have any fear, Cruise. No. He's purely in the moment and embraces it to the fullest, and he channels some sort of higher chi energy. I don't know how he does it, but when I met him years ago,
oh, you did.
He was completely in the moment and sucked me into his you know, his world for the 15 minutes we chatted, and embraced one another and shook each other, and, you know, he's a close talker, and he's also he touches you. He's very, you know, manhandles you. But but it was very exciting, and he had laser focus and was like, treated me like I was a VIP while Jeremy Renner stood behind him, waiting for us to finish our conversation. But he paid Jeremy Renner no attention. It was all about me. It's pretty amazing. And this was 2 a.m, and he was about to get on his motorcycle and ride away.
Of course, a motorcycle.
Yeah.
Just like Top
he was
Gun.
about to do a motorcycle chase sequence with Jeremy Renner.
Which movie was
2
that?
a.m.
Was that Mission
LA.
Impossible?
Yeah, he had just started doing Mission Impossible with Renner. I think that's why they were dining together. But it was Cruise and a bunch of other celebrities and producers and writers. It was like 20 people at a big dinner. People from Zero Dark 30, people from The Office. Kind of a strange group, an odd group. Yeah.
And what were you doing there?
I was stalking him. No, I was having drinks with friends and dinner, and I heard, I'd been impersonating him for about 8 years at that point. Heard a rumor that night from another friend who was dining in this garden of the chateau. It's like a very famous hotel restaurant. He called me over. This guy Matt Belinsky's an attorney, an entertainment attorney, and he said, "I heard a rumor that Cruise is in the building, and I thought you should know." And I got very excited, and I thought, maybe this is the opportunity that I'll be able to meet him, or run into him. And so I looked everywhere. I scoured the room for him, didn't see him. I even went to the bathroom, and this is where I did stalk him, actually. I looked under the bathroom stalls. Maybe he was, doing number 2. I don't know. And Mission Impoopable, I call it. And he might have been hanging from the side of the stall, because he hangs off of things, but he wasn't there. I didn't see him anywhere. So I go back to my table and tell my friends that Tom Cruise was here, but now he left probably through a back door. But then all of a sudden I feel his presence to the left of me, and he was there, and he was, laughing and, saying hey to people at his table. And I was just seeing his profile in both directions. And I called the waiter over, and I tried to send him a bottle of champagne as a way to commemorate our meeting together. Mm-hmm. And he, the waiter told me I'd be banned from the hotel if I tried to approach Cruise, and I couldn't order a bottle of champagne, and he'd be fired. He's very serious.
Whoa!
So I was not. Yeah, I was resigned to the fact that I would just be breathing the same oxygen as him, and that was it. So anyway, but it was an incredible meeting.
But how did you meet him? If you couldn't go approach him, did you approach him?
Yeah, right. Okay, so you wanted, yeah.
Or did
it's
you
so funny. I told the stories. I've told this story so many times, and I'm like, not that I'm sick of telling it, but like I always try to add something new to it because I've told it countless times, and I try to make it fun for even myself. But I try to add in new elements that maybe I'd forgotten. Yeah. But essentially, so I was shot down from the waiter, and then my friend Donna, this girl who's like a fearless woman. I think she's Israeli, but grew up in Palestine. So she had to deal with a lot of, discrimination and running through the land when bombs were falling. Like it was pretty nuts. But she told me there's no way in hell you're leaving here tonight without meeting him. And I was like, Donna, it's okay. Like I'm cool. Like it's fine. And so she ends up at 2 a.m. I'm having a final drink, last call with my friend Jimmy. She ends up excusing herself to go to the bathroom. I forgot about her because I'm drunk. Cruise had already left with everybody. I was the only one left with Jimmy in the garden of the chateau. And my phone also had died. And luckily I'd given Donna Jimmy's phone number just in case, And so Jimmy gets a phone call while we're finishing up our last drink. And the phone call, he doesn't want to pick up because he thinks it's a solicitor trying to get money from him or whatever. And I said, it's not a solicitor. It's 2 a.m. Like, if anything, it's a booty call, And he said, all right. Well, he finally answered on the second ring, on the second call. He didn't answer the first time. And he answers the call, and he says to me, after listening for a little bit, he says, Tom Cruise is waiting for you in the lobby. And I said, shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up.
And he said, and he fucks around with me a lot, this guy. So I thought he was full of shit. But then he says it again without smiling. Tom Cruise is waiting for you in the lobby. He just repeats it. And I get up out of my chair and I sprint to the lobby, just like Tom Cruise runs in all of his movies. and Jimmy followed close behind me. He probably didn't run. He walked because he was maybe a minute later. But I get there, and Tom Cruise is waiting with Donna. Donna had stopped him there, and Jeremy Renner. And it's like everything's in slow motion. My heart was like beating really, really fast, and we embrace each other, like I said. And it's an honor and a privilege to meet you, and you complete me, and blah blah blah.
You complete me. You didn't say it to him, did you? You did.
No.
Probably did.
No, I didn't. I should have. I should have said. But, yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. Did you end up doing your impersonation for him?
No, because, well, I was drunk. I just wanted to. That's part one. Part two is that I didn't want to do the impression. I kind of just wanted to meet him and have that be it. And I knew he already knew my impression of my work, so I didn't want to like do it for him while drunk and
so how do you know that
and face embarrassment. Well, years prior to that, I had won a Tom Cruise impersonation contest. Yes, there are impersonation contests out there. I submitted for it. It was on Extra. It was on Extra TV.
Yeah.
And Mario Lopez's show.
Really?
And Mario Lopez didn't invite me on the show when I won, but my video was showcased on the show, and Tom Cruise was on the show with Mario, laughing at my work, laughing with me, not at me,
Yeah.
or maybe laughing at me in the best possible way. But he basically was like, his voice is uncanny. Wow, it's freaking me out. Like he said stuff like that, which I have emblazoned on my website because it's my only quote from Tom Cruise referencing me. But I've become known as I parody Cruise as much as I can, but I put on a wig and glasses, to preserve the illusion. But I'm not a lookalike, as you can tell. But I'm a voice match for Cruise, so I get hired constantly to be to mimic his voice, and that's what Cruise, I think, mainly was impressed by.
Yeah.
That I have his vocal cords essentially, so that's how he knew about me, and then we got a beautiful picture together, that night. The first one was blurred, completely blurred. So luckily, Jimmy took one good shot of us, which I have also on my website. But we haven't kept in touch. Cruise is not my bestie out here. I wish we were closer, but we don't talk.
He's a busy guy, very busy.
He's a busy guy. It'd be nice if he was like, "Hey, come to set one day," because I've done honestly, like, not that he needs like a great deal of help for his brand, but I have been an extension of his brand. I'm also a window into his world that otherwise any fan could never have, or doesn't have. And he's not an accessible guy. He has a PR team who writes his tweets and his Instagram. I'm the guy that is I'm the next best thing in the connective tissue between the two.
Yeah. Well, you caught my attention.
I'm like, I'm accessible. I'm friendly. And I also embrace I do an homage to his work. I love his stuff, and I think he's fantastic.
When you have the glasses on and the wig, you look just like your nose down. You got the fucking smile. It's there.
Yeah.
And you got the jaw.
Well, yeah. When
it works, right?
Luckily, I have the smile. Luckily, I have some facial features that are similar. And like, I don't have the hairline, as you can tell. Like my hair is receding. But, I'm 42 years old. I've been doing this a long time. It was less receding 15 years ago when I started. But I have the voice, and the voice is a big part of it, and the mannerisms are a big part of it, and the essence and the energy and all that. So, there are lookalikes who do what I do. There's like, a lookalike who's come onto the scene a few years back. He's very good. He looks like Tom Cruise, and he gets a lot of work. Definitely, not that I have like, I can't claim the territory. Like, it's not a monopoly, but there are, he's come onto the scene, kind of infringes on certain things that I'm doing, but he's also not really, he doesn't do what I do. Like, he doesn't get hired for commercial work and for like, not a lot of it, or for like, voice work or anything like that. Cause he's a French Canadian. So he has a French accent. There's another guy. Yeah. I mean, it's just, he doesn't sound like him, and the voice is a big part of it. So there's another guy who became went viral recently, even though I've gone viral many, many times in my career and I've been doing it for 15 years. This guy came out of nowhere. I mean, I've known him for a while. Miles Fisher, great actor, but he recently did some deep fakes that were very, very, very good deep fakes, deep fake technology. So the deep fake technician spent months on these deep fakes, but they were intended to basically fool people and shock people. And I've never done anything like that because I don't try to fool people. That's not my intention. But he's gotten some notoriety recently because these deep fakes were very, very good. But he also doesn't really sound like Cruise, but he does naturally look like him. So that's my competition, or I call it competition. But he's but honestly, I there's a lot of work to go around, and it hasn't really hurt my career. There's a lot of work around Cruise. Cruise is a megastar. Yeah. Yeah, sure.
Sorry about that. It was either turn on a fan or we get interrupted by the fire alarm above me when I'm vaping.
Oh.
It's happened. Huh. It happened to me like 2 weeks ago. I was talking to someone.
The vaping fire alarm thing, yeah.
Yeah, it's never happened. But so you're saying, yeah.
So I was just saying about the competition is an interesting facet to my life because I never had competition up until a few years ago, and suddenly as I started even doing even better in my career, like when I'm really in like the Renaissance period, suddenly these people come out of the wood. These two other impersonators come out of the woodwork and are now doing exactly what I'm doing, or trying to at least, and getting some notoriety for it in their different, whether it's regionally or internationally. But I'm not too fazed by it because, to be honest, I've had a great career and I'm still enjoying it. But I'm also kind of on the way out. Like I don't really want to be doing this for the next 10 years, and I don't want to be a Vegas impersonator. I don't want to be like an Elvis impersonator. I just want to, support my family and maybe finish it off with like a memoir about my crazy life that I've had as an impersonator, which is kind of interesting because it's very unique. And but also dealing with like anxiety and some depression, and but balancing the creative life with all that, because a lot of creatives go through that and are embattled. So I thought it would be a relatable subject matter to talk about the ups and downs and vicissitudes of this business, but from the focal point of an impersonator.
It would be very interesting.
And then maybe doing a one-man show on that. Like, so I would play myself, I'd play Tom Cruise, I'd play my mother, I'd play my girlfriend, I'd play one of my close friends, but all the people in my vicinity that either support me, or my parents, for instance, they support me, but they also are somewhat disapproving of my lifestyle because it's not, I don't get good health insurance. I have to pay for my health insurance. If I had a company paying for my health insurance, they would feel much better about my life.
That's not
but
fun in
that's
life.
What's that?
Well, like Sam Witwicky said, no risk, no reward, right?
Yes, and it's funny. Like I make sometimes incredible money. Like I make really good FU money. Not all the time, but I do some days, right? And my parents are not fazed by it. They don't think of. They just care that I have health insurance paid for by an employer. They don't care about if I make $5,000 in an hour. They don't care about that, which is a terrific rate for anybody. It's better than a lawyer. But they don't care. It doesn't like enter into their archaic mind of like the traditional kind of mindset of making money and having a career. They're traditionalists. I'm a bit out of the box. I've never really lived by that mindset.
Where are you making money? I know you're making money from Cameo. So that's where I found you.
Right. I mean, Cameo is consistent money, and it's not like extraordinarily lucrative, but it's definitely consistent and pays for all my bills. So that's great.
How does Cameo work on your end? Because I ended up I was using it because as a birthday present I got Bert. Remember the rock guy, the geology guy from Big Bang Theory?
Yeah.
I got him. He was great. And then I saw you, and I was like, wow, why the fuck is Tom Cruise so cheap? And then I looked at your profile. I was like, oh, it's an impersonator. I'm like, So
That's
after
hilarious.
that,
Yeah. I mean,
I'm like,
look,
where is this guy?
if Tom Cruise ever gets on Cameo, then I'm done. Okay.
He won't. There's
But
no way. Like,
he
what is he
won't.
gonna charge?
He won't
20
get on
grand a
Cameo.
video? Like,
Exactly.
look at
Exactly.
Kevin
It's not.
O'Leary.
It's cost prohibitive to anybody. Okay. So I'm the next best thing, and I'm the cheaper version, a much cheaper version. But I'll do a bang up job. Like I charge $100 right now, but when I started, I charged 40 just to get like the momentum going,
Mm-hmm.
and I've built up my price to 100. I think I've even done 125. And it's basically like testing the temperature, seeing where the supply and demand is, or the demand is, and then I stick with the price. And if I don't want to, let's say I'm overworked and I do like 10 cameos in a day. If I want to take a break, I set my price really high, or I can just say I'm not available. But I once set my price just to be funny and to see what would happen. I set my price at like, I think I did $10,000 or something, a cameo. And then I get a call from Cameo telling me, do you know what you, like, they were like, did this happen by accident? Like what happened? Like they freaked out over it. I was just I was joking, but I actually thought it was kind of a brilliant marketing move to just set the highest price of any celebrity on Cameo. No one does 10,000.
No.
Some people have done like 2,500 or 1,000, but like honestly, it's great. But my real money comes from small businesses and Fortune 500 companies who hire me for commercial work or for industrial work, doing sales, Zoom calls or live events when I did them. And then I'm getting hired on TV, film, commercials, and I'm up for some. I don't want to, get ahead of myself, but I'm supposed to do a pilot for a show, and I can't really talk about it right now, but it's supposed to be shooting next month, and it could be a nice little break for me. I've done the Tonight Show. I did Animaniacs. I did.
No. You talking about the Animaniacs for Cruise?
Recently.
The newest Animaniacs just came out, right?
That just came out, yeah. So that was cool. I did it.
I gotta finish.
I did an episode of It's Always. Yeah, I'll send you the episode. I did an episode of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, the 100th episode. But then, unfortunately, and it was a very funny episode. I have the clip. They cut me out of it at the very last minute. I think it was due to the fact that Cruise pulled the episode himself, like his team legal team. Yeah, and that happens, by the way. Ever since South Park did that Out of the Closet episode, he's a very litigious guy and he's protective of his image. Mm-hmm. So me doing it is not a big deal. Like, I'm parodying it and I have the right to do so. But when a major company is behind a parody of Cruise, I think they tend to shy away from it because they don't want to get sued.
Yeah, I guess. A lot of money involved.
Yeah, because you don't really see a lot of Tom Cruise parodies outside of what I do. You'd think, being a big star that Tom Cruise is, you'd see more of them, but there's a reason for that.
Well, they used to. I remember when I was younger, you'd see it around more often. Probably like, I don't know, Mad TV or SNL somewhere. I remember used to see it all over the place, cartoons.
Totally.
Like, they would get on him all over. But I think he was a bigger star back then.
I was approached to be on Mad TV years ago, but I only do one impression, and I do one very good impression. But you need to do 3 impressions to get on it, just like you do for SNL. So I've kind of been a slacker when it comes to learning. Like I've done so well as a Tom Cruise impersonator that I haven't had to be a stand-up comic or not. And I'd love to have done that in my life, and I still could, but I did. It's a lot of work and it's a lot of stress and a lot of it's a hard life to do that, and I've had it easy when it comes to Cruise. So I've been very, very, very fortunate. When YouTube came out and when Funny or Die came out, I was the first one out of the gate to start uploading these Cruise impressions, and I didn't think again, like it wasn't part of my business plan. I never had one, but it worked. Like what I did really was the right timing, Yeah. And then I've been working semi-consistently up until a few years ago. Then I've exploded ever since, like doing the Justin Bieber response I did a lot of deepfake videos for Collider and Corridor Digital, and they've gone viral. So I've done a lot of viral videos in the past couple of years.
I was gonna ask you about that Justin Bieber. Can you do it right now? What did you say?
Well, I basically said, I basically said, I think it's funny that you're propositioning me to fight in the octagon, and but I gotta say I have my limits. I don't fight girls, So I basically called him a girl, and I called him Justine Bieber and not Justin Bieber. I called him Justine Bieber, and it was a short like 30-second video, but it did very, very well. And Jane Lynch retweeted it, and like a couple other celebrities retweeted it, so that helped me. But all told, I think it had about 1 million views off Twitter and YouTube.
Wow.
And which is not even like a huge amount. Like it's not like a mega viral video like the ocean spray guy, but it was enough to get people already knew about my work, but it pushed me over the edge, and I started getting consistent work from that. Because it really was very realistic. Like I was wearing my wig and glasses. It wasn't deepfaked. It was just wig and glasses. But I was, it almost fooled myself. Like it was just like one of the best short videos I've ever done,
Yeah, Bieber, he never wins when he tries to battle someone. It's
it's embarrassing.
Do you remember when he tried to say he made Marilyn Manson relevant again?
No.
Yeah, well,
how did he do that? How would he have done that?
He wore a Marilyn Manson t-shirt while he was performing on stage.
Oh, wow.
And then the sales of Manson t-shirts exploded all of a sudden. He was selling it on his website, these Manson shirts, right? So then there was this whole legal shit with Marilyn Manson, and I forget what Marilyn Manson said. Go look at I don't know what you would write, like in Google, like Marilyn Manson's response to Bieber saying he's relevant again. And what Manson said, when you read that, I'm like, oh, yeah, you're done, Bieber. Like you can't. The guy Manson knows all the right things to say.
That reminds me of I think it was Jay-Z or Kanye who performed with Paul McCartney.
Yeah.
And basically Kanye's fans were like, who is this other guy that Kanye was performing with? They had no idea who Paul McCartney was. No idea.
Well, everyone knows Marilyn Manson. Everyone. In one way or another. Even if you don't listen to him, you don't know much about him, that name is like, you'll be like, yeah, right, you'll recognize it. I'm a big fan of Manson. So.
Totally.
Yeah. So
totally.
So with all the social media, like, are you making a pretty decent Instagram? You must be making an income, because if you get 1 million hits on YouTube, that's nothing. But Instagram, you got 1 million hits, that's something.
Well, I don't honestly, I don't make any money off Instagram. I use Instagram as like a marketing tool and promotional tool. But I get a lot of business through Instagram. Like people hit me up people hit me up all over wherever they can to hire me. I get hired. I haven't had an agent or manager in 3 years because I just get hired directly. Nearly every other day I get something comes through.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing. And unless Tom Cruise is Me Too'd or he, if there's like a heroin overdose, I'm going to keep working and I'll have a really good career, because he's such a, like, even Scientology doesn't bring him down too much. Like, people are negative about Scientology and like, I'll never watch his movies, but honestly, like, there's such an incredible, overwhelming demand for Tom Cruise, and it doesn't seem to hurt him.
I don't think he'll get canceled. Just like you said, there's way too much demand for him.
That's true.
So many, way too many people are making a living off this guy. Like they have to protect him at all costs. So
yeah.
Well, it is Hollyweird, so if something did come out, I'd be like, well, it's Hollyweird, so I'm not surprised. But
yeah, I'm
still gonna love his work. I'm gonna love his work no matter what.
Totally.
So, so you said you got into this 8 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Like what did it? What
oh no, I got into this 15 20 years ago. But I met him in 2016. I've been impersonating him for about 8 to 10 years at that point. Yeah.
But how did it all start? You just looked in the mirror and said, "I kind of look like Tom Cruise." You covered half your face. Like
it started off. It started off like the very first seed that was planted was in high school, when someone was like, "You kind of naturally sound like him and have his mannerisms." But that was like doing keg stands in high school. Like that's when someone brought it up. But then in college, I had a friend of mine. The origin story is that my friend it really encouraged me to do it actively and learn lines from Jerry Maguire and Risky Business and Mission Impossible, and knock on dorm rooms with him and meet women that way and break the ice. and we did it as a pickup maneuver. We tried to pick up women that way. He did a Jean-Claude Van Damme impression that was pretty damn good. And we teamed up together and had like a routine, like Abbott and Costello. And 60% of the time, maybe 70%, the doors opened and we made friends and maybe lovers for the night. And then 30% of the time, the doors were slammed in our face.
See, I can relate to that because in college, that's how I made a lot of my friends. First apartment building I moved into, me and my buddy were drinking, and I'm like, it was right next to the school. It was this college, Sheridan College, and so I knew there was a ton of students. There must have been in the the apartment.
Yeah.
So I'm like, hey, I'll be right back. I'm gonna go like. Well, actually, the first one was I was on my balcony. These girls were like on the third floor screaming and like playing music. You can hear it. I go, I'm gonna go see if they want to party with us. So I went and knocked on their door and I says, hey, listen, you know, I'm not here to pick you up. I just saw you on your balcony and we just moved here and come party with us. I ended up becoming friends with them for the rest of the year. And then same thing. I started going when I was fucking drunk and walking floor to floor, trying to hear for music in the apartments on like a Friday, Saturday night. If I heard music, I'd bang on the door to see who's there. I made tons of friends like that.
Yeah, exactly. You just see where all the action is, and you go with that. Yeah.
Rarely I had people that were kind of awkward about it, but you know, you're gonna get that.
Totally. I just got my first vaccine shot yesterday.
How you feel?
My arm's pretty sore, but I'm gonna have to ice it a little bit. But I've been pretty active. Like I've been working out with it, like trying to because I heard that that's actually good for it.
They said
to keep the blood flowing, do push-ups, pull-ups.
Which one did you take?
Well, I only had a choice of Moderna, but I wanted to take Pfizer, but whatever, you know. No,
Moderna, Pfizer. I'm fine with those.
Yeah.
It's the other one.
I'm going. I rock climb all the time, so I'm going today, and I hope that I can get some good climbs in and not be in too much pain. I might take an aspirin or something. But yeah, I've embraced the Mission Impossible 2, Tom Cruise, John Woo rock climbing bit, and I've become pretty good at it.
Tom Cruise rock climbing. Why not?
I want to become even better, but it's my favorite pastime.
I'm good at rock climbing. I'm just afraid of heights.
It's the only stunt work I do. I'm very risk averse, and I bruise easily, and I don't heal quickly like he does.
Yeah, I'm the opposite. I have a longboard bike. I crash constantly. I crash really hard.
Oh wow.
Yeah, I got some of the clips on my Instagram if you go scroll around. I got a full face helmet on my bike, and there's times where I completely crash like where my buddy was like, do you want me to call you an ambulance? And I get up, I'm like, I'm good. Just give me my first aid kit. And he's like, what the fuck? You know, like when people see.
Did you knock the wind out of yourself?
Sometimes I don't know how this happened, but my pain receptors are different from other people. They're not as sensitive.
Yeah.
And I would tell, there was this one guy I worked with in roofing, and I was telling him about that. And he goes, you're full of shit. I go,
yeah.
Pick the worst spot on the body to pinch that you think hurts the most, and hit me as hard as you can.
Yeah.
Is he serious? I go, yeah. So he went on the inside of my arm. He squeezed and twisted, and I didn't flinch. I'm sitting there, and I'm like, and he's like, nothing? And I'm like, not really. Kind of little tickle. But I don't know. So I'm just guessing. I have high pain receptors.
Well, that's good. Well, there are. I mean, maybe you just have lack nerve endings in that area too. Like I don't know. Was he targeting an area that has a lot of nerve endings, or does it? You know, because there's certain parts of the body that. Yeah, I guess. I guess that hurts. I don't know.
That's like one of the most sensitive areas for a tattoo.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, you got to get it. It's really thin, but it's not just that. I've hit things really hard.
This part right here, on the elbow, there's like no nerve endings there.
Oh, there, yeah, because you're constantly, your whole life, you're,
But isn't that interesting that like there's no pain there at all?
No, well, it's I don't have on my big toes, on the insides, right? Because I wore really narrow steel toe boots when I was doing construction for a couple of summers.
Yeah.
They ended up pinching like a motherfucker, like pins, right? And I went to a foot doctor, and basically he asked me about my boots, and then he didn't really do anything. He's like, not much you can do. You destroyed your nerves, all constantly rubbing on the steel. So That was over 10 years ago, and I can't feel my big toes.
Wow.
Rubbed out.
Wow. Oh my God.
I don't want to keep it too much longer because you want to go rock climbing and chill out. But what's your favorite Tom Cruise movie?
I would say the one that stayed with me the most is Risky Business, because I just love the philosophy of sometimes you just got to say what the fuck, make your move. You know, that is such a great philosophy, and it can take you in, I guess, dangerous directions as well, or not dangerous, but it could be reckless, I guess you could say, but no risk, no reward, essentially. But my other favorite one would be Magnolia, because I think it's his greatest performance to date. But I'm a big fan of some of his comedy work. Like, I loved him in Night and Day. I loved him in Tropic Thunder.
Oh, hey,
he's brilliant.
You ever do that impersonation? What did he say?
Tropic Thunder.
The grip.
Tropic Thunder.
Walk over there, punch that fucker in the face.
Yeah, I'm asked to roast people all the time, and as in Cameo, and one of the lines would be like, do me a favor, take a big step back and literally fuck your own face, which is great. Enough of this Pan-Pacific bullshit. And then I think the other one would be Edge of Tomorrow is probably my overall favorite film, because I love sci-fi, I love Groundhog Day, I love the marriage of the two. I love he's very funny in it. He's great in action. He has great chemistry with the girl. It's just all around.
Emily Blunt, yeah.
Terrific. Emily Blunt. It's a fantastic film.
I love that movie. That's an underrated movie. A lot of people that I know they haven't seen it, right? Just like you said, I thought it was fucking hilarious, because every time he fucking dies, he's like, he knows he has to die, and he's like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
I loved it. He was really great in that movie. Good story, too. The ending was wild.
Oh, my God. So wild. I loved it. They're going to make a new one. They're going to make a second one.
Really? Nice. I can't wait for that one. I feel bad. What was, when they tried to do that kind of, like multi-universe with Dracula and the werewolves and all that, wasn't he one of those? Oh, the Mummy one.
Yeah, and that was unfortunately pretty bad. I mean, like, Russell Crowe was good in it, but I think the script was pretty poor. He was, he's like fun to watch, but it was a big fail.
Well, the Dracula one was good. That one was not bad.
Oh yeah, I didn't see that one.
There was, I think they did they do 3 movies or only 2? The Dracula came out first, and then the other in the universe was the Mummy. And they were supposed to do a whole like Marvel thing where like all these movies like Frankenstein and all of them were going to come out and then become one big universe. But
oh right,
yeah, it sucked that it didn't pan out, because I really like Dracula and all that stuff, Bram Stoker stuff.
Yeah, it's funny. Everyone I talked to about Edge of Tomorrow, though, back to that, thinks it's also the most underrated movie. I love Minority Report too, like also sci-fi. Him and Spielberg did an amazing job together. That was awesome,
Oh yeah, I remember watching that. I watched that I think last year or something, and it's been a while, like years since I've seen it. There's a lot of things in that movie that they got pretty accurate to today's technology.
Yeah,
stuff that's coming close.
Oh yeah, yeah. I mean, Spielberg and Kubrick and Kubrick did do the original AI movie. What was it? Was it called AI? And then Spielberg did the he picked up where Kubrick left off. But was it called AI? What was that movie called with Haley Joel Osment, right?
I don't remember.
The one about the robot, the boy robot. Anyway.
Oh yeah.
They're like masters of the future. Like they've done, and of course, I would argue Ridley Scott is one of them as well. With Alien and Blade Runner. They I think depict the future better than any filmmakers or visionaries. James Cameron, But anyway,
you want a really good movie to watch?
What?
You seen Elita Battle Angel?
Oh yeah, I liked it. I think I had some issues with it. Like there were some corny factors, but I thought overall it was great. I love I love the girl in it, and I love the guy from Inglourious Bastards, whatever his name is.
Fuck, I remember something Waltz. Christopher Waltz.
Christoph Waltz, yeah.
Yeah, Christoph Waltz.
And that was who directed that? Was it
that was
Rodriguez,
Rodriguez, yeah, and James Cameron produced it.
Yeah, and James Cameron, exactly. Yeah.
I thought it was fucking great, man, because
it was.
The one thing,
super cool.
like, I was just going to put it on the other week because I was tired on a Sunday and I was lying on my couch and I figured, okay, I'll just put it on. I heard it was pretty good and maybe I'll pass out halfway through. It's one of those movies. Then 15, 20 minutes, I'm sitting up. I'm like, holy shit. And I'm a huge fan of Robocop. 87.
Oh, Robocop is great, too.
It's my favorite
movie. That's Peter Weir, right?
Peter Weller.
Oh, yeah, but I think the director, though. Who was the director?
Oh, I forget what his name something.
Let me just see, because
see that frame picture right there at the top? That's Peter Weller. Me and Peter Weller.
No, I love Peter Weller.
He's right there on my wall. I don't know
if nice.
You can't see that, but it's way back there.
The original RoboCop was Paul Verhoeven, of course. Yeah. Paul Verhoeven did Showgirls.
That fucking movie.
And also, Showgirls and Basic Instinct and Total Recall. That's right. Yeah. Amazing. I love Paul Verhoeven.
And guess what else? So him and the original writer from the original RoboCop are actually working on the sequel to the original RoboCop that they were supposed to do back in the 90s but got buried.
Wow.
They were trying to get Peter Weller back, but I don't think he wants to do it because he thinks part one was just perfected and just to leave it at that. But the storyline I think I was reading about, it's gonna cancel out part 2 and continue off from part 1 from 87.
Oh, cool.
That's
I love
really
RoboCop.
Cool.
You ever see Paul Verhoeven's Elle?
Elle?
Yeah, it's about a woman who goes after her rapist, and it's amazing.
I will look it up.
Fantastic film. It's Isabelle Huppert, and I think she won an Academy Award for it or got nominated, but fantastic performance.
So you're a real big movie guy. I didn't see that coming.
I'm a movie guy. Yeah.
Yeah. Obviously, you work in the film industry. What's the biggest movie set you've been on? Most known or anything?
Well, my cousin is Adrian Grenier. You know, the Entourage actor.
Adrian.
You know, Vinny Chase. Vinny Chase. He's the main guy in Entourage.
Vinny. Hold on. I'm gonna tell you Vinny Chase. I think I know.
You know HBO's Entourage, right?
Yeah, of course. I binge watched it, but it was a long time ago.
He's the star. He's the star of that. He's the star of that.
Oh.
So, yeah.
No way. That's your cousin.
But yeah, it's my cousin, and so I've been on the Entourage set, which is pretty big. You know, the movie and the show. Trying to think of like what other big ones I've been on. Yeah, Victory Podcast is really big right now.
Is that that's him doing it, right? That actor?
Yeah. Well, it's exactly. Dylan.
I gotta check that out.
But yeah. Well, listen. Thanks for having me, man, and appreciate the So if anyone wants to follow me, it's just not Tom Cruise across the board. I'm very easy to find. Not Tom Cruise official. Not Tom Cruise. Hire me for cameos. Book me for Mother's Day. For for any holiday. It's a great gift. Very memorable. And that's it.
Dora, I'll put all your links in the bottom. You want to give me one more Tom Cruise impersonation to sign off?
Sure. Just help me, help you, help me, help you. Just help me, help you to keep calm and cruise on. You see the shirt I'm wearing? I don't need any more reason. Why? Because I'm cooked in quarantine. I 2 slices of bad pizza. In the morning, I grew a conscience. Sorry, the fucking zoo's closed, Ray. The fucking zoo's closed.
That fucking smile, man. Oh, it's great. All right, man.
And there you have it. Yeah, man. All right. I'll talk to you later, bud.
All right,
Thank
take care. Enjoy your climb.
Bye. Later. Thank you.